think I gotta dress up tomorrow.
Oh,
Me.
for
For the concert, man.
what are you dressing up for?
No, like you wear their stuff. Like, you know? Like last time I wore the yellow tape straight across me. And the shirt. They have an outfit. Every time you go, they have colors. Like yellow and black and stuff was the one last time. I think this time it's like purple and pink or something.
Didn't people like Kiss? Didn't people paint their faces to go see?
Well, this is every tour. So every tour, like the one before that was, no, the last one was yellow and green. The one before that was red and black. So like everybody essentially wears the same thing.
Are you going to a concert?
Yeah.
Sounds like a cult following.
Well, yeah. And the theme this time is there's this like funny little dragon. Yeah, you know, if you don't know.
Some people are into that, yeah.
If you don't know, you don't know. Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Thursday. How you doing out there? I'm gonna be cool tomorrow, so we won't be here. I normally do the numbers thing and all this and sort of geekiness. Going to a concert, just saying. You know, it's a kids concert. It's pretty cool. Not kids. I mean, I guess everybody likes them. But 21 Pilots. I'll be hanging out with them, doing my thing. You know, so I gotta. Can't wear the jazz shirt there. You know what I mean? You gotta put whatever they're wearing. So I think my daughter actually got me something. I hope, because otherwise I just kind of put a hat on and have a good time. But so it won't be here tomorrow, but I wish you guys a good day as well. Tonight we're going to be doing our Wine and Wealth class, and actually it's going to be a Bourbon and Wealth class. I'm just saying. Now there's not a lot left because we had a poker game, and there was a lot of people here. That's why it's so little low. But this will be joining us tonight is Watershed Bourbon. It was a gift from a client, batch number 1. Excellent, by the way. So we'll be hanging out tonight. Grab a drink. Come hang out with me. You know the drill. If you're one of our clients, that's what we do every Thursday. We try to take away the intimidation and the weirdness, the boringness, and just kind of get into cool stuff. Tonight we're going to talk about end-of-the-year tax planning as they revolve around your dough generally. But some of the things maybe you didn't think about and some of the really kind of cool tricks we can play and stuff. So we'll be covering that, and I'll hang out with you guys later. So grab a drink. Let's do it. As far as the markets go today, it's kind of boring, right? I like drops. I'm not, it goes up. It's like I didn't do anything. It just went up. But that's what we got. And actually, it was a pretty broad rally today. So it wasn't like, your tech stocks led the way. It wasn't like, the one area of the market did anything. It was kind of a broad rally there, and I'll just dive into it so we can do some work here. The Dow was one of your better gainers today off the 200-day moving average. This one was in part to some bigger moves. I'll say that. The S&P and the Nasdaq were more broad rallies. So was the Dow, but it was really weighted by a few names there. And it's up about half as much as the NASDAQ year to date. The NASDAQ's the leader. So it's about 13% year to date there. And if we look through some of the leaders, Boeing's going to be your big leader today, obviously a bigger mover. They got news out of China. They're going to be able to put that 737 MAX back to work. American Express starting to recover a little bit. It's one I got a position on. And not bad. We'll go through some of my positions later. If you're interested, I'll stick around for that. But bigger mover there. Visa, which also happens to be a position I have, but you're starting to get a little rebound there. You can't really trust Visa yet because it's done this to you before, but there's some bigger gainers. Salesforce off the 200-day, a little bit of a bounce there so far, and even Disney, which was extended. These are your top gainers in the Dow, and obviously they're all helping with the day. The one weakness, by the way, is going to be Walmart, which now is an extended play, right? So we were talking earlier in the week, I think Honeywell and which started to bounce today. American Express, Visa, these were some of the names in the Dow that I was talking about. Hey, they're really extended. In the short term, you'd like to see a little counter trend bounce. Walmart's now getting into that point too. Back down to an obvious technical support area. I'm not saying it holds, but it's one that everybody can recognize. And very extended in the short term. Walmart does not like to be extended. No stock does. And so maybe that's one of your new extended ideas there. But nonetheless, the Dow was one of the better performers. I think the Russell was the only index that outpaced the Dow today. And you can see why now, right? So that's that one. Guess the Dow, we talking about that?
Yeah, got the board up there. Your last weekly update or weekly version update of Guess the Dow. We got Glade, Frankie, Matthew, Gracia, and Hannah. Those are your top 5 for today. We'll have our last weekly winner of the year tomorrow. So, and then from there, we start playing for the end of the year.
Awesome. Big super duper Guess the Dow. We're going to nail that, right? And by the way, those of you that bought something for my daughter, you don't have to. It was kind of a joke that she's the sponsor. I appreciate that, and it just shocks the living daylights out of her that she gets a random order on Etsy. But it's cool stuff. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description below. But thank you. She was shocked by that, and she was like, I woke up early because I got an alert that I sold stuff. And I'm like, there you go. Cool. Enjoy. So she's all excited to have a few bucks now to spend. She's actually going on a cruise, so she's excited to have a few extra dollars there. Thank you, by the way, for that. All right, let's dive into the S&P here being next off the 50-day moving average there. Still down on the week, even with today's gain. And the interesting thing about today is it was more of a committed type day. Here's the you can't see it. 5-minute chart there. We started off the day with a big rally, little bit of volatility, and then the pressure stayed to the upside. Every attempt for someone to push this down or to sell into it, it failed, and the market basically closed at highs. So it's a good sign for the S&P, at least if you're thinking this is a reason to add to a position, or maybe the funk is kind of over there. Personally, I hope it continues a little bit lower, but it is still down on the week, and therefore it was if you wanted the general theme of the S&P for the day, broad theme was the semiconductors pulled back, right, ever so slightly, right? A lot of them, actually, let's go over here. 1 second. Yeah, you got Lam Research down on the day, Applied Materials. These are all stocks that have had great runs here lately. Micron also pulling back. So KLA 10 Core, CLAC, pullbacks there in the semiconductors. So that's part of the theme there. Earnings plays took a hit today. So PVH, one of those earnings stocks, starting to get extended actually there. Etsy down a little bit as well. That's not earnings related. Dollar General, I believe, was. So earnings plays that were on the bottom of the list, also on the top of the list. There you go. You got Kroger, a big day for Kroger with their earnings out there. And then the third part to the sort of theme for the day was virus stocks. Stocks that would have done poorly if we were scared of the virus. They're doing better now really because of the oversold scenario we just saw. Delta Airlines got a nice reversal there. Carnival Cruise attempting to recover a little bit. Caesars, if you look in the gamers, there you go. Caesars, also remember, these stocks are all very much oversold in the short term. So those COVID stocks did well. So you got semiconductors pulling back, earnings plays showing the volatility on the top and the bottom of the list there, and COVID stocks shaking off the old Omicron virus. Now, I didn't have this graphic for you yesterday, and I felt bad, so here it is. We talked about this yesterday. What happens when November is down, because it's typically a strong month, right? So what happens when November's down, which it was 0.62% in the month in this last November here. But when it's down, when the S&P is up by double digits or more for the year. So an otherwise really strong year, but November was down, which is odd. Here it is. There's only 9 other events where this has happened, so I shared that with you yesterday. It's the 10th time that November's been lower there since 1938. You got 1938. What I did is I put the year-to-date performance, what November was, and then what December turned out to be. So you were up 20% in 1938. By the way, the only other year where we were up 20% for the year when having a down November. November lost 3% and December gained 3%. Same thing over here. 1943, we were up double digits, down for November, positive in December. Catching the theme yet? You seeing the theme yet? Whenever you're up double digits and November is negative, December has been positive 100% of the time. In all 9 of these events, you can see the green across the board there. So it's not a whole lot of data, but it's at least something fun to look at. And I like taking these sort of obscure data points that most people don't look at and, I don't know, just add a little bit to the bulls or the bears just to give you an idea what that looks like. Average gain, if you're looking across this, the average December gain was 4.3. Strip out the 11.16, you get a median gain of 3.9. And we'll see what happens, right? So far, we're off to a good start with the recovery, but still down. Yeah, we've got time. We're going to be here, so we'll see what happens there. Lastly, we'll take a look at the Nasdaq. There you go. Up about 1% on the day. It is the leader year to date. You know that one there is a broad rally today, minus semiconductors. And Chinese stocks, I should say, as well. So semiconductors, Lam Research, the worst one. We've already covered AMAT and some of these. You look at Pinduoduo, hit a new low. That's Chinese stock there. And I'll throw in Zoom, was it? Yes, there's Zoom also. So stocks that would benefit from shutdowns and more COVID scares and things like that. Not the case today. So your Carnival travel stocks up, your sort of stay-at-home stocks, if you will, they were down on the day. I also want to point out crude oil. Seems like you got yourself a low on that one. We did get the way you look at this, OPEC met, and they had planned on increasing to 400,000 barrels a day. So they didn't go over that. They said, yeah, we're going to stick with the plan. We're not going to change anything. We're not going to increase production anymore. And they said, we're just a little bit of concern. We have problems, or uncomfortable was the word. We're uncomfortable with oil under $70, which is why they weren't going to raise their production at this point. So that's what you have for crude oil. Not bad. Maybe the news is now behind you here in the short term. We could start this little extended pullback. We'll see what happens. Sector-wise, you look at the sectors. What do we expect out of December? So there's a lot of focus on December being a positive month, but now that's the S&P. We look at that. Let's go look at the individual sectors. And thanks to Cody, right? You got it in there, right? It's in there. It's in there. Here we go. Here is your average December performance by, no, that's not going to be this. It's going to be this one right here. So we're going to switch it up. So this chart is actually the performance, and the other one is positivity rate. So just disregard this here for a second. All right. So we're looking at the average performance of the sectors as well as the S&P there. So what you have in December, this is looking back 40 years actually. Financials lead the way, the best performer in December historically, 1.83% gain there. Industrials 1.78 and utilities 1.77 are the best performers over the last 40 years. Utilities I think is kind of interesting. It's been one of the best over the last 5 days there, meaning it's been down the least there, but it has the most number of stocks also in the new highs list. So utilities are actually already starting to perform as they normally do. I also think it's kind of interesting because if you look at this, if I were to tell you there'd be a strong month and you knew with 100% certainty that the month was going to be strong, would you pick utilities? Like, if I said, go out there, right, the market's going to be higher, and you had those 11 sectors to choose from, I highly doubt anybody would choose utilities. So I just find that kind of interesting, that you'd get a strong month and you would think utilities would be one of the leaders there. All right, at the bottom of the list, you've got tech and you got consumer discretionary, 0.9% gain and 0.42% gain respectively there. They rank the worst, but still positive overall there. And at the moment, tech is down the least of all sectors since the beginning of this most recent pullback there. So that's kind of interesting there. Now, usually these are the two sectors you think of when if we could predict the future and say the market will be higher. I would go right to tech. I'd either go tech or financials and I'd have a 50-50 shot, I guess. But these two sectors actually perform with the lowest average returns over the years there. I will point out communication services, we got a 1.64% gain here on average. It's a little bit tough. Remember prior to 2018, was it, when they changed it from telecom to communication services, it didn't include Facebook, Alphabet, and others. And so this is a little skewed, right? So it's a little tough to measure when we do things like that. Communication services used to be called telecom, and you would think like Verizon, AT&T, right? It wasn't some of these semi-tech communication companies there. Other than that, you got 5 sectors that historically outperform the S&P, which averages a 1.33% gain in the December list that we're looking at here. And yeah, that's kind of the performance breakdown. The probability of it being positive, there you go. Utilities has the highest odds of being positive, and now you know. So 75.6% of the time it's positive by an average gain of 1.77. So don't let the data scare you there. The S&P comes in second place, so utilities are the only sector to beat out the S&P in terms of positivity rate there. Most consistent gainer, and also most consistent in terms of the probabilities, is what I was trying to say. You got a 4-way tie for the least consistent: tech, materials, financials, and energy at the bottom of the list. And there you go, right? So the odds of any of these sectors being higher in the month of December. And now that you know the odds, you can look at the odds of the average return. So now you know. Just kind of a fun thing to play with there, don't you think? Tell me you think. All right. New highs and lows. You got 4 new highs, 12 new lows. going on a little bit of a streak here, right? Where new lows are outpacing new highs, very typical during pullbacks, but today was no different. I'll point out a couple things here. NVR, this is a home builder we talked about yesterday, breaking out. Apparently, technical traders saw the same thing. Breakouts continue, so looking pretty good there. That one was really the only new high I was going to share with you today because we talked about it yesterday. Only a few of the new lows closed down on the day. Look at this Medtronic. We talked about this one being extended, oversold. Well, it made new lows this morning. That counts. Just for a brief moment, made new lows. And now recovers, or starting to recover there. So I thought that one was interesting. Match.com also, although this is not as much of a rollover extended play, this is not one you would add to your list. But still, it finished in the positive today after making new lows. You got a gold miner, which has been beaten to death. This Newmont's had such a rough time here. This one did close down on the day and making new lows, so I find that one to be a little bit difficult. And Twitter, there you go. You think they'll change their name? I don't think so. Twitter hit new lows and also kind of extended there in the short term. I put it in last place because it is the least extended out of all the names that we mentioned there. Yeah, that's what you got. Somebody messed with my thing here. There we go. Probably me. All right, looking at stocks in the news. Ta-da! Apple down on the day. That was a big drag earlier in the day. Bloomberg said that they told their suppliers to expect less demand for the iPhone 13, and that was in the news earlier today. Boeing, if you didn't catch it already, China says we can get those 737 MAX airplanes back in the air, or start to get them back in the air. So that was pretty cool. Good news for them. That's been a long time coming, but hopefully everything's straight there. CVX, they're doing more of a buyback. So they're going from $2 billion, they're raising it from $2 billion. They were doing $2 to $3 billion. They're going to go to $3 to $5 billion because Build Back, is it called Build Back Better? That plan? Yeah. Build Back Better. Well, in that, what you guys know what I'm talking about. In that plan, there is now proposed to be a 1% surcharge on stock buybacks. So these guys are no dummies. They're getting this done, man. I don't blame them. And Square, soon to be named Block. They're in the news there, of course, because they're changing their name to Block. So if you missed it yesterday, it's no longer going to be called Square. But the logo could stay the same, right? See the logo? That's a block. So maybe they just changed the name. I don't know. I wonder why they do that. But why would... I don't know. Costco. First time in a while, by the way, that their same-store sales, still positive, double digits, up 14-something%. Same-store sales were actually lower than expected. That doesn't happen often. And think about what's happening here. The monster gain on Costco. People are just looking for a reason to take some profits and come back and buy it cheaper. That means nothing bad, I think, for Costco, but that's what it is there. Also, it's the 20th anniversary of Enron. Do you know what Enron is?
I know of Enron from the movie Fun with Dick and Jane. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I was 5. I'm familiar with it.
I actually watched that movie.
Fun with Dick and Jane?
Yep.
That's like one of the 4 movies I've seen.
Yeah, I'll say I've maybe seen 6 just to be competitive. Maybe, like in their entirety. I want to make that something that I watch more movies. But here's the best one. Today, Brittany Spears' birthday.
Oh, wait, good for her.
Do you know who Brittany Spears is?
I know who Brittany Spears is. I do. I'm surprised you know who she is.
Mickey Mouse Club, man. That's how far I go back. Mickey Mouse Club, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake. That's where they all came from.
I got buzzed hair, Brittany. I was growing up.
Oh, buzzed hair, Brittany. That was bad times.
Yeah, it was tough times.
Bad times. She's making a comeback, though.
She does seem to be making a comeback.
This will be her first birthday with her own money, by the way, I guess.
Oh, well, yeah, we got a free Brittany now. So.
Free Brittany, they said. I didn't follow that, but it's something about her money.
Free now.
She's free. Well, happy birthday, Brittany. If you'd like to come on the show, we'll just gladly have you.
That would be awesome if we could get her on the show.
Here's a fun one. Just because you're going to think I'm going to say Brittany. Childhood celebrity crush. Man or woman, we don't judge.
Oh man, I don't know. I'd have to really think about that.
You think about it for a second. I'm just letting the stream catch up so we can answer some questions there. But the stream seems to be running pretty quick today. So.
Do you have? Are you going first? Or do you want the stream to go first?
No, I'm just letting the stream catch up. That's why it's catching up now. But you got one?
The only one that comes to mind is Meghan Markle. When she was in Suits, she married one of the people, one of the Prince, someone over there.
Oh.
Yeah, but in like middle school, I watched a show she was in. Well,
Megan, yeah.
not so much now.
Not so much now?
I'm a lunatic, but.
Oh, okay. Well, childhood crush, though. That's the thing.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
You?
Yeah, I would go Anne Hathaway. You know when they say like, "Hey, who would you want to like go on a date with? Ask questions about blah blah blah." They see you searching for her, by the way.
I know. I have to search for who that is.
You don't know Anne Hathaway?
Well, I didn't know what she looked like.
I just
know
think
the name.
she just seems like a nice person. You know?
Yeah, she seems like someone that you would.
That I would pick?
Yeah.
Wow. Just don't tell Stephanie. All right, let's do questions because we that's about as in trouble as I want to get tonight. Yeah, Enron, I mean, if you don't know Enron or you haven't seen any of the documentaries related to them, it's really fascinating, especially where they play the audio clips of people that work there. It's quite fascinating. It's a good one to watch. Yep. Short-term bounces for J-Dubs, CRM, AXP, etc. What's a good bounce target typically? How high do they bounce so you continue to trade sideways for all? Well, so it depends on how you play it, right? To me, I consider them scalps. I don't know if we can say that anymore, but traders used to say it's just a scalp, meaning I'm going to be in and out. I'm hoping just pluck a few pennies out of there, be on your way. So if it's a stock, it makes it a little more difficult because if you're buying shares, you know, your return on capital for taking a 25-cent winner or something, you know, you borderline a day trader there. If you're using options, though, it could be a little bit better. Now, Visa, I actually just got back to scratch. I was down on that one until like I sold the 185 puts for 435, so I'm basically right there. American Express. So the way I look at it is I have a 15%. I've collected 15% of the premium that I hope to keep. So that's not really enough for me. I would continue to hold on that. Plus, hopefully, we're just getting started. Baker Hughes is one of the better ones. Collected 31% of the total premium that I sold for. And Bristol Myers is 33%. So some of those are my focus. Salesforce is at 25%. I look at some of those things and I go, all right, I don't have any other bright ideas right now, so I'll let those simmer. If there were tons to do right now and I were looking to place other trades, I'm not using all the capital, but I would likely say, all right, well, let's take off some of these 30 or 40% winners and move on to something else. That's my mentality. It doesn't have to be yours. You guys, some of you know the number of stocks we have in our portfolios. So I'm already looking at everything. It wouldn't be right to say that that's the same that it should be for you if you're not already looking at every stock out there. Yeah. American Express, so frustrating to own. Well, in the short term, it would be frustrating to own because it's pulled back the most out of, I believe, all the big bank stocks there. Not more than like Visa and stuff, but I mean, out of the bigger banks, I think it's pulled back the most in the short term here. So yeah, that's frustrating. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a tough one. Hopefully PayPal's starting to turn the corner there as well. I'm down on that one. So that one's still hurting me there, right? Yeah, I got a ways to go. I sold 175 puts for 5.25. They're at like 685 or so. So a little bit underwater. So hopefully this is the bottom there. But I was just early on it, huh? Not in the money or anything. Just a little early. Yep. Andres, want the SPY? Well, that's a unique number. I don't think it reaches 490 by the end of the year. I'd be pretty grumpy if it did, but I don't think it gets there. That is way too large of a move given the number of days left. Is there like 18 days left or so, not including holidays? Mm-hmm. Alf. Celebrity crush was Alf. There you go. Oh, man. Paul's going Candace Bergen. I kind of came up. I didn't really watch that show. I knew of it, but I didn't watch that one enough. I really liked Candace Bergen in... shoot, I can't. It's the show. I was just telling Cody about this. Boston Legal. Yeah, I thought she played a good role in Boston Legal. Good personality. Mm-hmm. DocuSign. What's the matter with DocuSign? So rough day for DocuSign. Yeah, that's a rough after hours right there. So you got earnings with. Yep. Looks like all of their COVID-related gains and activity are starting to fade away. least the start of it there. Drastically missed their overall sales numbers. Wow. And looks like they see their revenue dropping going into next year. Yep. Yikes. So trading at, what, 166, here's where it's at if you're curious. So it closed at 233, and right now sitting right about here, give or take. That's a big move. 20% or so. Jeez. Incredible there. Hey, Harry, do you remember the epic 23 bloodbath market caused by Powell? Yeah. October, November, December, we fell 20%. And what I find so fascinating about it is almost not one single client noticed. Like, I just thought that was weird, right? I mean, I had a great time. We obviously get a pullback when we get to work. We like seeing things like that. But I was like, we're not busy at all. Like, nobody's asking questions. Nobody's panicking. It was actually my best friend's parents. They were the only ones that were a little nervous. But other than that, I'm like, nobody notices. Now, people notice a 2% drop in a day. They go, oh, what are we going to do about this crash? Or they get excited, right? Like, are we buying stuff? I'm like, it's 2%. But I get it. There's an excitement wrapped around, hey, can we fall again? And when do we? And can we take advantage of that? I love it. Going Marsha Brady there. All right. I gotcha. Who was the daughter on Alf? Was that the other one? Because I was trying to think. No, it was not her. No, I'll stick with Anne Hathaway. This seems like a nice person, right? What do we got here? Subject of Wine and Wealth tonight is going to be end-of-year tax planning, talking about some different ways of going about things, maybe raise a few questions that you hadn't thought of before. So, and then see how far this bottle takes us. Because, well, you know, it's Thursday. Anyways, I'll wrap it up there. Let you guys have a good rest of your night before I say something that gets me in trouble with the missus. Enjoy the rest of your evening there, and we will guess the Dow winner Monday for this last weekly round, and then super duper guess the Dow for the end of the year and our little side bet. I spent one of our $7 that I bet on the thing, so I'm going to have to owe you. Or I just have to win. Sorry, man. All right, enjoy your evening there, and we'll see you later if you're one of our clients in Wine and Wealth. Adios.